Well, for more now on where the French unions are coming from in this strike movement, I'm joined on the set by Rémi Aufrere-Privel. Hello, Rémi. Thanks for coming in.
Hello.
You're a union member, a transportation expert, and a railway worker, a part of the UNSA Railway Union, which is the second biggest union in the railway sector here in France. Now, your union has traditionally been one of the more moderate ones, even one of the more reform-minded. Why is this strike different? Why did you change your more usual moderate position this time around?
Because this project of the French government is a real social disaster. Because, for example, women will be the first victims of this project. Many women will no longer be able to retire at 61, 62. And now, with this project, they will have to reach the age of 64, for example. That's crazy for us. And we don't put the good question of the reform of retirement age, because, for example, the National Pension Council, an independent body, said there is no drift in pension spending. That's why we think that we call for the abandon of this project and come back for a real negotiation between unions and the government.
But the question is, what would that negotiation bring? For example, you're talking about the fact that you think there will be enough money in the French pension system, whereas many people, including the government, say the reform plan is necessary to finance the pension system here in France, which is very generous. If the government rolls back on making people work longer, where exactly is that money going to come from to pay for people's retirement at 62?
There's no real answers inside the government project. For example, to find new resources, there are several solutions. Not only one, of course, because the situation is not easy. First of all, abolish social contribution exemption to a lot of companies, because these measures, this exemption, do not protect employment at all. This is a waste of public money. That's a crazy situation. And the second solution could be increasing very modestly the contribution of companies by 1%, only 1%. And the third solution is the old workers. In France, we must to encourage companies to keep their old workers. And it's a real, very important issue that the French government don't bring any solution about that.
I think that is a key point, because in France, often what happens, to explain to our viewers, is many older workers are sort of moved off the job earlier to get unemployment before they retire, and all of that costs the system a lot of money. At least that's one of the claims. But France is very famous for its good social benefits. It already has one of the lowest retirement ages in Europe. The unions actually decided to stop the strike over the vacation period so people could go on vacation. Many people outside of France look at the way we work here and they say it's true. The French don't work enough. What do you have to say to that?
No, I think that's wrong, because some foreigners have a wrong point of view of the reality in France. For example, according to me, my point of view, I joined the French Railways in '82. I was 16 years old. And I know when in '82, it was only necessary to have 37.5 years of working labor to have a good pension. And now I must work more than 43 years old, 43 years. Mm-hmm. And that's why my life expectancy win only 2 years or 2 years and a half. And I must work more than around 4 or 5 years. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of European people outside France don't understand and don't know the reality of the workers' life in France.
But couldn't there be some sort of compromise where workers like yourself, who did start very young with that promise of a retirement around 55, maybe could retire earlier, but whereas newer workers in the railway system expect that they will retire later? Why couldn't that be some sort of compromise?
It could be, but it's difficult because in the French railways, for example, you can take your retirement pension for drivers, locomotive drivers. You can take at 54, but in fact, a lot of drivers now take their retirement at 55 or 55 and a half. And for other workers in the French company, the French public company, take their retirement age at 60 and 61. Mm-hmm. And some of them could take their retirement pension at 58 or 59, but they don't go out the company at 58 or 59 because they lose about their pension because they're a sort of décote.
But again, in the railway sector, it's very interesting because many people say the jobs aren't that hard anymore. It's not like it was 100 years ago when you were working with the coal. Now it's just pushing buttons, isn't it?
No. It's still hard because a lot of French railways workers, like all over in Europe, they work Sunday, they work night time. My beginning in the French railways work was outside the railway station with the wind, with the all the problem of the weather, and in all the time in French railways you can work 24 hours. And then you must work nighttime, for example, and you work 3.8. You understand, in 3.8, and then you can work from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. and to 4 a.m. to 12 a.m. and 12 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then this kind of working time cause a lot of penalty. Right. Of course, that's the same for railways workers in Germany, in Spain, and Italy. Mm-hmm. But, to have an average rate of retirement in Europe around 65 or 66 year old, you must have a good one. Mm. And the good one is right. 60 or 62. Mm. A lot of other European workers in railways in Germany or in Italy or in Spain are very agreed to see the struggle of the railways workers in France because they think, and I think it's very important to hear that, they think that if the French workers are defeated about the social struggle, perhaps for them, they could go more than 67 or 68 years old. It's a question of average rate.
Yeah, I don't know if the government would go quite that far, but we're not there yet. In the meantime, Emmanuel Macron does not seem like he's backing down for the moment. The unions are joined together saying we're going to stick with this. How long do you see this strike movement going on?
We don't know. At this time today, we are very determined. We are very strong. There's a very huge mobilization today, and we must talk to workers and their families and to know if it's possible to continue more and more. Of course, we know in the French social history that it's a necessity to have a long period of strike because a lot of French government doesn't accept to put new question on the negotiation table. Of course, all the unions are ready to negotiate on the necessary resources for the pension system.
All right, well, we'll see how it all plays out. Thank you for coming in to speak to us, Rémi Aufrere-Privel from the UNSA Railway Union. Thank you very much.
Thank you.